All right, guys, we are here at PRI. This is the first ever episode of our podcast. Doesn't have a name yet, so you guys can comment down below on what you guys recommend we should name it. But our first guest here, which I think no better first guest than this one, to me, this is Nitro Scott, or if he just shows up out of nowhere, I normally refer to him as, oh shit, what are you doing here?
True fact.
But this is Scott Sublett. Scott, introduce yourself.
I'm Scott. Most of y'all know me from John's channel. Go back way before I met John racing. Been involved in the industry since the 80s, if you will. No jokes about my age. Absolutely love drag racing. Met these guys a few years back and have had nothing but a blast hanging out racing with them. They're a big dysfunctional family that loves to go drag racing. It's awesome.
So I think before we go into the racing stuff, more about you. What do you do for work and what have you done for work? Because that, I think, plays into effect the racing side of things and definitely the way you do things.
So my background on is I'm a retired Marine. I spent 22 years on active duty. I'm a helicopter guy, still to do that to this day. I'm a 53 tech rep. Was in the Marine Corps for a very long time. Always loved the sport of racing. Loved living in a country where we could do that wherever we wanted to do it. I'm an aviation background guy, so it makes me very detail-oriented. You apply that to race cars, and the process actually gets way easier. But yeah, I've just enjoyed it my whole life.
And just to touch on that, Scott took me to work with him one time, and Scott is that guy. I mean, he really is. Like, Scott is the man, the 53 stuff, and they're awesome. If you've never seen them in person, it's the seventh, eighth, I don't know how many wonders of the world, but it's the next one.
It's the largest helicopter in the free world. Just Google CH-53 Echo. You enjoy the videos. You watch long enough, I promise you'll see me in one of them.
So we ended up getting, how many years have you been messing with us, with the Nasty Racing crew specifically?
I'm on my third year messing with these guys, and honestly, out of the last 25 years of racing, have enjoyed this more than anything else. I've done everything from blown small block cars to pro modified turbo cars. I messed with the import cars during the import scene. Had some, pretty good success at most levels of it. But this, hands down, has been the most fun. I get to hang out with some guys who are just a great bunch of people.
Well, I'm definitely proud of that, because if we're not having fun, we're not doing it, and everywhere we go, we do have fun. We actually, I think the first time we met was at PRI in 2019. I got nominated for the Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30. You were here with Forrest and Devin, which Devin will be around here some point, and we all went to dinner together.
Yes.
So that's when we sat down.
So I'll tell the story a little bit differently. So I'm the guy who in the social media world is kind of one of my pet peeves. I'm always fascinated by guys who just document their racing career, guys who document what they're doing in racing. I think that's extremely impressive, and it shows people that, hey, this stuff's not easy. This is very hard to go out here and do this sport. Now, I had never met John at that point. I had never met any of these guys at that point. I fell victim to the listen to the wrong people, because they're like, oh, these guys don't ever race. They're just test and tune guys. They don't know what they're doing. They're always out here struggling. That was the first thing that had in my mind. I'm like, well, the people telling me that, everybody that races struggles. I don't care who you are. You go out to a racetrack and these things will beat you down. So I was very skeptical at first, because I'm like, man, these guys don't even race. I race all over the place. I don't see them nowhere. Well, met John. Met all the guys, super nice bunch of people. And then the story came along where he knew Forrest, he knew Devin, and to be honest with you, if you look at the motor in that car right there, that's what actually got me working with, nasty performance and speed.
No, that is it. So I didn't know how to work on a small block Ford. I knew how to work on an LS. We had an issue with the motor. We just got it, I think, and we want to take it apart and look at it. We took it apart, and I didn't know how to put it back together. So I'm like, oh, I met Scott. I know Scott, you're the motor guy. Like when you came on board, Scott came on board as our engine builder, not engine assembler, engine builder, because there's a difference between the two. And I'm like, hey, I don't know how to put this thing together. Like we use TCAM Performance. They do all our machine work. They've assembled motors in the past. They still, like in a pinch, they'll still assemble some stuff. But this is a whole different category, which at certain levels you need. So I'm not going to go up to a machine shop or a motor that they didn't do anything on, say, hey, can you put this together for me? Called Scott. I'm like, I don't know anything about a small block Ford. That's really where the relationship begun.
It did. I came up, we put the short block back together. The cam timing was the original question. You're like, I took the timing chain apart or the timing belt off this thing. It all moved, and I don't know how to put it back. I said, no, that's not hard. I said, it's not that much different. So we came up, John and I put the short block together. We put the cam timing, put all it together, showed him how to do cam timing, and it literally began from there. Because that time is kind of when I met everybody else. And I'm telling you guys, I can't stress this enough. I've worked with some very, very high-end teams in the past, worked with some guys who have unlimited budgets. I've never worked with a bunch of guys that are more fun to work with. I'm telling you, and that's literally what kind of kept me coming back and helping them out.
Scott loves when we're just in the shop yelling at each other, and he's like, what's going on? And that's just like another day.
It's absolutely hilarious. If you've ever been around a bunch of brothers who will fight each other every day, but will kill you if you fight one of them, that's these guys.
Yeah. What's funny about this motor actually is it's probably the baddest small block that we have. After you put it back together, we put it in the car, we got the timing, everything figured out on it. It sounded probably the best out of any motor we've had, and we've only got to hear it for like 60 feet or so.
So can we talk about what's in the motor?
Yeah.
So to put in perspective for all you gearheads out there like myself, just so you know, very nice block. It has a Bryant billet crankshaft in it. It's got a bionic set of small block Ford heads on it. I mean, for all you guys that understand that is literally probably one of the baddest small block Fords around. All the right stuff in it to make that thing super fast. It will make a ton of power. And like John said, we really only got to hear the motor run for about 60 to 80 feet or so.
Oh, it sounded great for the burnout and everything. Like, I still have the video. That's a badass motor. Now we got it in a chassis where we'll actually be able to use it. So, the Bad Apple, it's funny. The Bad Apple got us together.
It did. And here it is at PRI.
It comes full circle,
It's kind of cool.
So, besides this, right, we'll talk about this briefly. Come on board as really our engine guy. Like, everything gets directed towards you. We're at the track. I don't like checking valves. You kind of handle that. I just don't like doing it. I've left a couple adjuster nuts loose. So Scott's the director of valve checking. Anything with the engine, that's like, I refer to you. You're always there. You're always at the track with us, always at the shop. Do a great job with that. But besides that, I mean, we've worked on chassis stuff. We've built turbo kits together. We've done HVAC. We've worked on equipment. Like, literally done we've done plumbing. We literally, you show up to the shop, just game to work on anything.
And honestly, that comes from the military background. In the Marine Corps, we pride ourselves in being able to do more with less. So you just kind of learn that work ethic. And I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm a firm believer that if one grown person can do it, I can too. We'll just have to figure out how.
So enough about all this stuff. You have some cars as well.
I do.
So you've done some drag and drive stuff, and you got a chassis at the shop, a chassis at your house, a car that you drive on the street. What are some of the cars? Like, what's your go-to? What do you like platform-wise? Are you a Ford guy, Chevy guy? Where are you at?
I'm pretty famous for making a statement of you can make anything run if you want to spend enough money on it. Me being a budget-conscious guy, big block Chevrolet platform will always be my favorite. They're not super expensive. They make a ton of power. The parts last a long time. And I'm going to catch so much hell for saying this. The LS platform to date has been one of the best platforms designed in engine building in the last 50 years. It is so simple to take that platform and make huge horsepower relatively cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, as bad as I hate to say it, because I'm a diehard big block guy and everybody knows I give everybody hell it's got an LS motor, including these guys. but hands down one of the best platforms made. My current drag and drive project, I have a 540-inch big block Chevrolet for it. I currently have 3 different turbochargers for it. I'm either going to do the big single on it or twins. It honestly depends on how the rules play out. But I've got twin 80H for it. But it's a true get in it. I want to drive it. I'm a huge street car guy. I know a lot of guys don't care about that.
No, he shows up to our shop. He lives about an hour away. He'll show up, Camaro, small block, beating the ground, like looking at the clouds, being like, "Oh, I hope it's not raining on the way home because I'm on slicks." That's Scott to a T.
Yeah, I drive a car to their shop with a spool on it and drag radials, and I pray that it doesn't rain. But yeah, I mean, I love the street car stuff. Big block Chevrolet, always favorite platform. The small block Ford stuff is awesome, but it has a Ford tax.
Yeah.
Ford, trust me, I love your motors, but man, does it cost money to build a good one.
Yeah. And you got to be smarter to do a Ford. I'll say that through and through. LS stuff, if you have no clue what you're doing, get an LS. If you are very smart and you have a little bit more money in your pocket, build your small block Ford. Small block Ford will make more power. Handle more power.
Small block Ford will make more and take more.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
That's why another joke I always make, the LS1 Gen 1 design is right there. GM, you did copy the Ford. I don't know if you like that or not, but you did.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, well, I think that's probably going to wrap it up quick, short, to the point. Anything else you want to touch on?
Yes. If you're involved, if you want to get involved in racing, if you just want to go, I'm a firm believer. I always say go do crazy shit with your friends. Pack your friends up, go to a racetrack, go to a small tire race, get out there, go do a drag and drive event, go do power tour, go hang out with us. Just get off the couch and go do something in racing. I promise you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Surround yourself by where you want to be. If you want to get into racing, go to the track and be around the people that are racing, learn from them, and next thing you know, you'll be there doing it. So I think that's going to wrap it up on our first podcast. We'll keep it short and to the point. We're here at the Race Tech booth, 5149 PRI, which we're going to be here for the foreseeable future, hopefully until we just stop racing. These guys are great. Their seats are great, and they are the star of the show. We're actually sitting in 2 Race Tech seats.
I do have one more thing before he wraps this up, and I want to put this out there because it's the first podcast. My hat's off to a lot of these guys. I raced so hard early on with everybody else. I've worked on, like I said, a lot of cars. I had reached the point where we raced so hard in Pro Modified, and we were doing some street car stuff back then, I got sick of racing. I walked away from racing for about 8 years. Just so y'all know, the cam timing on a small block Ford brought me back into racing and made me start liking it again. And that's an honest to God's true story.
Yeah.
So when John says surround yourself with people where you want to be, it will change how you view drag racing. It will change how you view anything you do. So again, get off the couch, call up your buddies, and go do something fun.
Yeah. No, that's it, 100%. Well, Scott, we enjoy having you around. We wouldn't be here without you, obviously. This thing would still be sitting at the shop with the cam out of it. So thank you for coming on board.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being the first person on our podcast. Hopefully this is the first of many successful ones. And we're going to, I guess, get out of here and go eat some dinner. And then I guess tomorrow kicks off PRI. So
it does.
Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, we told you 2025 is kicking it off. Did you ever think we'd be doing a podcast? Especially a podcast at PRI in the booth? I mean, this is crazy. So we're going to see how many people we can grab and stick in the seat and do, we might be filming a year's worth of podcasts this week. We don't know. So
and pay attention to 2025. There's going to be a whole lot of racing done here.
Yeah, 100%. So we're excited about it. Don't miss out. Go subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next video.